Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Tech.
I'm Kojak.
And this is Critique the Critics, the show where we take a look at critics' reviews of movies and make fun of them.
I almost interrupted you saying the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter. That's right.
That's a completely different show. Good example, though, is today we're talking about V for Vendetta, and Olivia Glazebrook from The Spectator said this: "If the secret police ever want to get anything out of me, all they have to do is sit me down in front of this film. I'd tell them I was the third man on the grassy knoll just to make them switch it off."
Oh,
That's stupid.
yeah.
It's really dumb.
It's dumb.
That's just someone trying to make a good joke. I don't know.
I laughed more out of pain.
More and pain and pity.
Yeah.
Has there ever really been like a funny critic? Can you think of a funny movie? Like, oh, what a funny movie critic. I remember the guy that was always on like the news shows.
Yeah.
With the big mustache or whatever.
Oh, him, yeah.
And
yeah.
he was just,
I forgot his name.
He wasn't funny. He was just weird.
Yeah.
Like Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel and even Roper, like none of them were funny.
No.
They didn't even, and most of them didn't even try to be funny. The three of them
Right.
just tried to be insightful, and that other guy was just weird.
What's that dude on YouTube that claims to be the funniest?
Oh, Jeremy Johns.
Jeremy Johns.
The funniest critic
on YouTube.
I think I've laughed nunts listening to that dude.
Nunts.
Yeah. But basically today we're going to take a look at V for Vendetta, and let's just jump into the critic that we have that we're going to look at first before
From
we get to all the
LJworld.com.
exactly. Before we get to all the audience stuff, we're going to start with this.
Is this legitimate?
Lawrence Journal World.
I've never heard of it.
I have no idea what it is, but this is an actual thing. This is from 2020 as well, so it's recent.
Hey, he's trying to be funny.
Although
V for Vendetta
it might not be. It says 2006 there, so I don't know.
I don't know. It might be. Who knows?
It might be 2006.
But V for Vendetta is S for subversive is the title.
What's interesting is the negative and positive reviews all did something with a letter. Every single one of them.
I hate things.
It's V for very bad.
I
It's
can't
S
say
for
I hate
sucks.
things. There's a strong chance that we would have done the same thing.
Probably. Well, let's take a look. Here we go. Ideas do not bleed. They do not feel pain. Natalie Portman's character explains in the opening narration. But do ideas get dizzy? Whoa. The question has been posed. Nice thesis statement. There are so many disparate ideas competing for screen time in V for Vendetta that it's a wonder the film doesn't come apart at its narrative seams. I hope you explain this because I feel like there isn't that many. There's an overarching theme to all of the things that are going on. Like they're all connected with the same idea.
Right.
So I don't know. Hopefully you explain this.
I think we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. Yeah.
That's what the point of this podcast is.
Imagine George Orwell's 1984 if its central character had been a costume crime fighter a la Batman. I'm okay with this.
So far, I'll buy my ticket.
Yeah, it's literally like, imagine you're watching most comic book movies, I guess. I don't know. The result is part socio-political think piece, part action blockbuster, half anti-government call to arms, half unquenched love story.
So it's all...
It's Shakespeare.
Yeah,
it's literally Shakespeare.
It's also the entire Olympus Has Fallen series.
Yeah.
Including the love story.
Like one of the greatest love stories of all time. Romeo and Juliet literally talked about like two different families of people and class systems.
I mean, really, Romeo and Juliet is just a statement on lack of communication.
Exactly. Why can't we just talk, guys? But I mean, usually there's something involved that's not just love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind wasn't just a love story.
It wasn't?
All right, let's move on. Add a pinch of British history lesson. Throw in a dash of Shakespearean inner turmoil. At least you got that. But most of what you're saying is Shakespearean because he gives you British history lessons too, and all the other stuff we just said.
Yeah.
So okay. So far, I'm just going to go with Shakespearean
and Batman.
And Batman, Shakespearean Batman.
Now we need to write Batman into a Shakespeare play, kind of like how like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter
Yeah, right.
And Pride
What?
and Prejudice and zombies.
What light through yonder window breaks? Oh, it's you, Robin.
Romeo and Juliet and Batman.
Robin and Juliet.
Robin and Juliet.
Pay homage to the Phantom of the Opera and the Count of Monte Cristo, which certainly was done,
good
obviously.
sandwich.
V for Vendetta is the latest Hollywood interpretation of author Alan Moore, a man whose IQ always seems about 50 points higher than whichever filmmaker is trying to adapt his graphic novels. I mean, isn't that usually the case when you're dealing with like the person like writing the entire story?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're smarter than anybody else. It's just they've had the chance to sit in their own little world for God knows how long.
Right.
And then the writer has to figure out how to take their views or the director, like have to figure out how to take all of this thought process and turn it into something that the average person can understand.
Right.
Imagine if everything always was as heady as every critic wanted it to be. This industry wouldn't exist.
No one would watch it.
Yeah.
There has to be an understanding that these are different mediums, for sure. I mean, it's just like you don't hang, a poster of a girl with big boobs holding a 6-pack in the MoMA. You know what I mean? It's like you just,
I mean, now you do.
I guess now you do. Now you hang whatever the fuck you want because no one's going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Moore's relationship with the motion picture industry has sired one passable effort from hell that's passable, apparently, and one turkey, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which when I read this, I knew you were going to get upset because...
I'm not upset.
You liked it, though, right?
I liked it, but I understand.
I got to say, though, have you read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
No.
It's not that bad of an adaptation. I've read it.
I mean, I heard that it's a just kind of a ridiculous thing in general.
It is.
But like, I didn't hate it. I gave it a lot of passes,
Yeah.
but it's fine. Like I would watch it again
Yeah.
because it's gone. It's the amount of passes you have to get to give it just makes us like whatever at that point.
I also don't like how just because someone's written is being adapted, we relate it to each other.
Yeah. Well,
It's like if you look at Neil Gaiman, right?
Uh-huh.
Neil Gaiman did Coraline.
Mm-hmm.
Coraline is a far cry from other things that Neil Gaiman has written,
Right.
and that has been adapted.
Yeah.
That's like, although it's dark, it's very like youth friendly and
Right.
not nearly as like cerebral and
Yeah.
crazy as Good Omens or
fair, yeah.
You know what I mean? So to compare that, even if you're looking at fucking Stephen King,
Right.
1 second you're watching It, the next second you're watching Stand By Me,
And then the next second you're watching March 2020.
yeah. Right, exactly. But you're not like to automatically compare just because they authored it. I don't think it's fair.
Well, the thing that is always weird to me about critics is that they don't give anything a pass.
right.
Like they refuse to take a medium that needs suspension of disbelief and give it suspension of disbelief.
right.
And you and I give passes differently. Like with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and like the Tom Cruise Mummy, I gave it passes and I enjoyed it. But like a B horror movie, I don't enjoy. But you give those the passes because of how that works. And we kind of go back and forth with that. Like
I give lots of movie passes.
like I would watch the last 2 Matrixes again because they're just part of the Matrix world, and I wouldn't complain. I don't think they're fantastic,
Sure.
but I like the characters enough to kind of watch the cerebralness of that story.
Sure. And I definitely understand that. I mean, I give a pass to. It's not even I give a pass. For me, it's just a matter of enjoyment. I don't let things stop me from enjoying things. I have a genuine understanding of what I'm looking at.
In different ways, though. I was saying, like, there's things that you were just like, that's awful. And I was like, oh, I don't mind this. And
the thing is, but that's because you have an understanding of what you're looking at, and then it's whether or not you enjoy it. So you might watch something that's fucking terrible, that I think is fucking terrible, and you genuinely know isn't that good.
Yeah.
Like the 2 Matrixes, after the first one, they're not that good. And you know that. But you like them, and you're willing to watch them.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with me and like a shitty Be Harmed.
Right. I'm just saying, like, we approach them in different, like, we don't agree on everything.
No.
We kind of approach the opposite.
We do agree on whether or not they're bad.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between, like, objectively, like, you can go, yeah, that's not that great.
Right.
But I like it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that they never do.
What's that Colin Farrell movie that you keep telling me that I didn't like? And that I was like, I don't remember ever saying that, and I had to go watch it again.
Oh, RoboCop?
No.
Was that no?
No, the fucking
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Yeah, it was some remake.
Yeah,
we
where it's
walked
like,
out and you said you didn't like it.
Yeah, and I don't ever remember doing that.
Yeah.
And then I went and watched it again. It's like, no, I don't. I like it. Which is it's a weird. Like, I feel like we both had some kind of like Mandela effect moment on that. But it's just like, maybe I did, but I don't remember doing it.
But see, the whole point of that is that at the end of the day, they never go, I just like this. They never go, yeah, it's kind of like not that well made, but it's fun. You know, it's so rare that they do that. They just go, no, it's bad.
Yeah, like it's either Schindler's List or it's not.
Right. Well, let's see where he's going with this. His latest endeavor is the closest of the movies to hint at the history-steeped genius of his work, yet it's still too much of a jumble to be deemed a success. One can only hope Moore's upcoming Watchmen fares better. I mean,
how was V for Vendetta received initially? I don't remember.
People liked it.
I feel like that's what
people liked Watchmen too.
It kind of disappeared into the ether kind of quickly.
But I don't following.
I don't remember. Sure. I mean, I even got a V for Vendetta costume at one point for Halloween. Yeah, and like I kept that cape for forever because it just happened to be good quality. But yeah, I mean, like I even did that. That was like the only thing I've ever really dressed up.
I'm pretty sure it was decently received. I mean, I had a hard time. I didn't have a hard time specifically finding like a negative thing, but it wasn't all negative. It was mostly positive. So
yeah.
V for Vendetta is set in a not-so-distant future in which the threat of global terrorism has turned Britain into a totalitarian police state. Portman stars as Evie, a TV production assistant assaulted after curfew by government goons, who is rescued by a verbose anarchist called V, who's Hugo Weaving. Evie, are you like a crazy person? V, I'm sure they'll say I am. Disguised in Guy Fawkes mask, with a permanently frozen smile, clad in black swashbuckling garb and wielding knives with the dexterity of a wushu master, V is bent on dethroning the government key players. These include the Bush-esque Chancellor Sutler, the Rumsfeldian head of secrets police, Creedy, and the Limbaugh O'Reilly-ish voice of England, Prothero. That's pretty funny, actually.
Those are fun juxtapositions.
Yeah, that's really funny. That's a nice little analogy.
I wonder, I do kind of, not to get political currently, but like thinking about like all those the protests in Michigan with all those things, I wonder how many people feel like they're doing what he's doing.
Right.
In this case.
I mean, like, this is all theoretical, right? This is all the idea of like making a statement, things crumbling so that things can be rebuilt. Like,
right?
It's obviously the sort of thing where it's
easy to be misinterpreted.
Yes, I don't even know if it's a matter of being misinterpreted. I would say more it causes discussion. So everyone might interpret something like this differently. But it's worth having so that we can talk. That's the point. Is to make it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Eventually, Evie becomes an unlikely accomplice of the vigilante/terrorist, but at what cost?
Her hair.
Her hair. Dun, dun, dun. To backtrack a bit, Fawkes was a Catholic dissident, who in 1605 was caught beneath Parliament with 36 barrels of gunpowder in a failed attempt to blow up King James I. His name lingers on in annual celebrations throughout England and in a memorably creepy nursery rhyme. Remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason, and plot. I see no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Writer Moore certainly hasn't forgotten. He structures the entire story around the allegory of Falk's insurgent coup, with the screenplay help from the Wachowski brothers, now called the Wachowskis, of course.
Yeah,
Creators of the
they
Matrix.
went through a lot of names.
Yeah,
to
creators
get to
of
where they are.
the creators of the Matrix trilogy, and their protege director James McTeague, I believe is how you pronounce that. Moore's latest is often interesting, though not always very compelling.
Isn't just James
Isn't that the
McTeague?
same fucking word? This is interesting and
Yeah,
compelling.
no,
Those are kind of synonyms, right? That's a pretty similar definition.
Yeah.
Interesting and compelling.
Yeah.
Because if it's not compelling, is it not? It's not interesting, right? Because you have to have an interest in something to be compelled.
I don't know. You saw what I did with League of Legends.
Fair enough. I just don't like that sentence. That's like it's not this, but it is this. It's like, it's not barbecue sauce. It's BBQ sauce. It's like fuck you, man. It's barbecue sauce.
It's BBQ is because it has more jazz in it.
Oh yeah, true. The relationship between the principals feels disconnected and never quite achieves the Beauty and the Beast resonance it deserves. Not really. I don't think the point of it
I don't
is
think it was going for that.
I don't think the point of it is that they're in love. I think the point of it is that they're he kind of changed her in a way and got her to see, and the two of them believed in something. This isn't like, I understand you're saying it's mixed into a love story, but this isn't like a straight up romantic love situation.
Right.
It's something different. And
Yeah.
also to me, it kind of represents like this person who believes in something and then found someone else whose eyes opened and believed in a similar thing. And it almost represents like the ability for change, like that it can happen, you know?
Fair.
But yeah, you're not gonna. This isn't fucking 50 First Dates or whatever. Like this is.
Aw.
I know. This is not like when it's not like Natalie Portman wasn't Kate Hudson, and when he removes his mask, it's not Matthew McConaughey. All right, that's not what this is.
Or Adam Sandler.
But I would watch that. I would definitely watch that for sure. It's like instead of V for Vendetta, it's A for all right. All right. To be fair, Portman and Weaving are always separated by his mask. Yeah, for sure. In fact, the most powerful emotional moments don't even involve the leads, but come via a subplot flashback involving a lesbian's anti-authoritarian stance. All right, that's fair. If that hit you more than everything else, that's fine.
Okay.
More potent is the movie's political commentary. The filmmakers certainly can't be accused of hiding behind metaphors. They spell out very clearly that it is anti-Muslim hysteria that opens the door for this big brother regime. The Christian right, buoyed by its pro-England was it jingoism and anti-gay rhetoric, assumes command and gradually smothers the country with its ideology. I mean,
I had a stroke with that one.
I had a stroke with that one too. I mean, they're saying,
I get it, but man, you could have summed that up better.
well, I don't think that this is saying that anti-Muslim hysteria is the thing that creates all this craziness. I think that what it's saying is that hate and like racism and disdain for things that are different than you and not accepting people for who they are and what they believe, that's what creates this. Just because those are examples and ideas used in the story and in the movie doesn't mean that. It means that you can't put every example in there. You have to use an example so that you can have the overarching theme. You can't just go like, here's literally everything. Because then what you're doing is you're assuming that not only does Alan Moore have 50 more points in IQ than the people who made this, he has like 300 more points in IQ than everybody who's fucking watching it. Because that means that we can't go, oh, he doesn't mean everything was caused by hysteria about Muslims.
So dumb.
That's really stupid. I mean, Also, that means like every movie is going to be like 36 fucking hours long because they have to put literally everything into it. It's easily the most subversive mainstream picture to be released by a major studio in years, from Warner Brothers, no less.
Oh.
Ultimately, V for Vendetta is a confounding exercise that has no trouble getting people to think, but it's far less successful at getting them to feel. What?
Okay. All right. Sure. By the way, the phone number to call the entertainment editor
Yeah.
is at the bottom of this article.
But we don't have the whole thing because we have to figure out where this is. It doesn't give an area code. Okay, so what your sum up is that it's really good at making you think, but it doesn't make you feel.
Okay.
I feel like those things are not mutually exclusive.
No.
I feel like,
In order to think something, there is something. Being blasé about a thought means it's not a thought.
well, I mean, you could think about something and it being blasé, but if you're inspiring thought, if you're making
Right.
if something is thought provoking,
Yeah.
then it's going to incite some sort of feeling.
Yeah.
And if it's not,
Like, I'm looking at this mic stand and I feel mad at it because it sucks.
but sure. But I mean, if you're not watching that movie and thinking about whether or not their ideas are the ideas are correct, whether or not things need to crumble to be built, or whether or not the way that it is the way that it is, you need
Right.
government, you don't need government, all those different things. If it inspires you to think about that, there will be some sort of passion about your opinion that comes out of those thoughts. And at the very fucking least, there's a part where Natalie Portman confronts a goddamn piece of shit pedophile, and if you don't feel absolute hatred and disdain for that character alone,
Then someone needs to raid your house.
yeah. And that's not just thought. That's not just like, wow, this really inspires my brain. No, that's like, this is fucking wrong, and there's people like this in this world, and I'm mad about it. That's a completely different thing. Wow. Man.
Are you okay?
That's just that's the same thing as going interesting and compelling are drastically different words. Ugh. Hi everyone. Welcome to the part of the show where we read fake facts. Yep, fake ones.
The writers were forced to add the scenes of a bald Natalie Portman after she arrived on set having actually shaved her head to show her love for Britney Spears.
Before being sent a cease and desist from Wes Craven, the original costume for V was just a Ghostface costume from Scream with a top hat and an extra knife.
Nothing happened on the 5th of November. It just rhymes with remember.
This has been Fake Facts about V for Vendetta. I kind of want to see that Scream costume with the top hat now. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
All right, let's take a look at some audience reviews and see what they had to say about V for Vendetta. I actually think that these are going to be somewhat recent because of the way Rotten Tomatoes works, which will be interesting to see what people think now. Because now looking at it, that was definitely from 2006, that review we just read.
Right.
I got confused because on the top of the page it said the date. Like so I was like, wait, what? Is this from 2020?
It's from whenever we decide.
Exactly.
All right, I'll read the first one
Sounds good.
since I haven't read them yet. Well filmed, but plot is a hammer hitting a cantaloupe. No, that's Foley.
No, that's Gallagher. G for Gallagher.
That's all we need to say about that
Yeah,
one.
I
Let's
guess.
move on. All right.
It was fine, I guess. Just love the V alliteration monologue the most.
Not that I'll be able to ever recount that.
For sure. I mean, it's funny that, like, I actually like that. I like that, like, you can walk away from a movie that you didn't like that much, but you really liked the wordplay in it.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, because that means that even though you didn't like the movie,
You walked away with, you tried to walk away with something.
and you also walked away with something, like, smart. You know, you didn't walk away with, like, just like, oh yeah, a thing exploded. Like,
Yeah.
you walked away with, like, oh, it's really cool the way that you know what alliteration is.
Yeah, except for I mean, like, Unless you're just trying to sound super smart because how you spelled alliteration.
They're making a play on words because all of the words were.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, all alliteration.
I see where you're probably.
I totally respect this.
Yeah.
review.
Okay.
I respect
whoever you are.
Whoever you are.
All right. People like this junk? Yes.
It's weird to go to Rotten Tomatoes and make sure that you review a movie by asking if people liked it.
You
took the time to do this. You did. You showed up and you were like, you know what? This is my review.
See, the thing that ever made sense to me is doing this on Rotten Tomatoes is people can put this on like Reddit or Tumblr or Facebook or Twitter, and you can have responses.
Yeah.
This is just sitting there, and no one can say anything to you. I guess they can assume that it's irritating people.
Right. It's like you know what? I'm gonna put my feelers out in a desert.
Yeah.
You know? It's like looking for dating on an unused app.
It's like shouting Naomi in your own apartment with ever actually going anywhere. You're never going to find a Naomi. Someone's really freaked out right now.
It's like throwing corn on the ground and you don't own chickens. All right. It's good.
Do we need...
Here's what I love about
this. Okay, I got to know why you picked this.
Because I love the idea, one, of someone coming just to go, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Two, like, they picked, not only did they give the most middle of the road, I don't even know if I should see this review, they gave 3 out of 5 stars, the most, like, middle of the road, I don't even know if I should see this star rating.
Yeah.
And this review I love just because it gives me nothing.
Are you sure this isn't me?
It might be you. It gives you literally nothing.
Yeah. I use this fine and it's good a lot.
Yeah. This is very much the, it gets me from A to B car of reviews.
Yeah. This is the Ford Aspire of reviews.
Exactly.
Hey, someone with the name Film.
Ooh. Hi, Film.
I like a Tarantino without any of his flair for dialogue, a comic book movie fittingly realized with comically bad English accents.
I would like to ask how this is anything like a Tarantino movie.
I know. They're just mad there's not enough swearing?
I guess.
There's the monologue. It's like trying... It would also be equivalent of like, it's not like a Kevin Smith monologue, you know?
Do you think that V is for Vincent Vega? Oh, maybe that's the case.
V is for Mr. Violet? Is that a guy? No. I tried.
I gotta say that I would love for this person to tell us, not that we can communicate with them, but I would really love for this person to tell us what Tarantino movie / movies they were thinking. I can't think of a single one that I could relate to this.
I don't have a clue.
I could probably think of other directors I would relate to this more than Tarantino. So I don't really understand that.
I'm passing on that one.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't a single person who like put a gun to someone's head and said "motherfucker" or
I think that's what they were disappointed
maybe
about.
That's what it is. I won't lie, the movie and plot is done with such excellence that it's almost unprecedented. But there is something dark and mysterious about this film. Watch this and tell me you don't feel something dark stirring in your soul. 1 star. This movie is done so amazingly well, but it's a little dark, and it makes my soul uncomfortable.
This is how my mom would rate this movie.
Right? It's so ridiculous.
It's like, it's really well done, but I feel evil now.
Yeah, right? It's like, okay, watch this and tell me you don't feel the touch of Satan. Do it. Yeah. I bet you can't do it.
Listen to Meatloaf and don't tell me that they didn't sell their soul to the devil.
I hear that if you play this movie backwards, Satan kills orphans.
Satan doesn't kill orphans.
1 star.
The U.S. government does.
Dan, dan, dan. I do find it interesting that someone named Zechariah is worried about the darkness in his soul. It seems really biblical.
Yeah.
This is the most biblical review.
Zechariah H for heaven or hell?
No, that's Jesus' middle name. Jesus H. Christ. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with us, guys. We really appreciate it. That's our show. Critique the Critics on V for Vendetta. If you've been listening on one of the podcast sites, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, do all the stuff. Until we see you next time, geek out and game on.
Bye.